Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we will be building the auth flow. It contains sign in screen, sign up screen, reset password and so on. If you have watched my previous videos, I have already developed the onboarding screen 1 and screen 2. So what you have to do, I have given the repository link in my description. You have to come to the repository. You have to come to the onboarding branch, take the pull of the onboarding branch, and you can resume your work from the onboarding branch. If you want all my today's video code, it will be in the auth_flow. So I'll be working in the auth_flow branch. What you have to do, just switch to the onboarding branch and resume your work from there. And thank you guys, you are supporting so much. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions or doubts, please comment down below, and please guys do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's get started. So what we will be doing in this video, we'll be making into the components, like this will be a component, this will be a component, this checkbox will be a component. And if you have followed my previous video, I have already developed one component, which is button component. So yeah, what we will do, just come to the app. I am already in the auth_flow branch. So let's make another screen, which is this sign in screen. Let's make signin.screen.tsx. Okay, and again we'll be creating one style folder, like style file, signin.style.ts. okay, now you have to press R N F E and then press tab. Let's give the name sign in screen, and inside this styles folder, styles file, you have to copy this and let's paste it over here. So it will save our time, like remove the unnecessary styles, and come to the screens. Now what we have to do, once we press this get started button, it's coming to the onboarding screen 2. Now what I want, when I press this get started button, it should navigate to the sign in screen. So for that, what you have to do, come to the app navigator folder, like file, and what you have to do, just click on the combined stack. This is the combined stack, and here you can see there is tab stack, which is of no use right now. There is this auth stack, which is of use. So let's click this, let's copy this stack, paste it over here, and give the name of our screen, which is sign in screen. And again we'll give the name as a sign in screen. So now if you can see, we have to come to the onboarding screen 2, and in this navigation we'll be pasting this. So if you can see, it's giving one error, which is argument of type sign in screen is not assignable to parameter type of key of navigator param list. So it's saying that it's not defined in the types of it. So let's add the type over here. You have to type it over here. The warning will be gone. Let's remove the import and let's press it over here and see. Yeah, it's going on the sign in screen, guys. So let's see how it's going. So now we have to import the styles from this styles.ts. so let's create styles is equal to create style from sign in style. That's it. And let's give the style to this view styles.container. It's nothing happened, guys. So let's see by changing the color. Let's give the color to the red. Yeah, it's working fine. So now what we will be doing, if you can clearly see, first we'll be working on this logo part. So I have already given the asset over here in this image. If you can see the logo black, we want this asset to be imported over here. Let's call image from React Native. Let's give source, but before giving source we have to import all the assets. Let's import that asset from assets. Okay, now we have to like destruct the asset from our assets, and let's see if we have logo black. Yeah, we have logo black. Let's give the name. Yeah, we have got the logo. Let's give the style styles.car logo. Okay, now let's give the style. See how much height they have given. So they have given around 36. So let's give the height scale 36. Let's give the width scale 36. Yeah, now what we have to do, we have to give this name, which is Quint. Let's add the name, text import from React Native, and Quint. Now what we have to do, we need this in the flex row direction. So let's add the flex row direction, styles dot. Now I have to tell you something, that the styles which you give, it should be generic as well as it should be specific to the screen. So for this we'll be giving the style name flex row. So I am giving it a generic flex row. Let's write flex direction row, align item center, and add one call gap. So let's give the gap around 18. So let's give 12. Yeah, cool. So let's give the font style here as well. Styles is equal to text style. Okay, so let's give the text style. Font size will be font size dot, let's give 18. Yeah, it's looking good. And let's give the color. Let's see what color they have given. It's black, so let's give the color black. Yeah, if you can see. Now what we have to do, if you can see, they have given some space, like it's aligned in the same line, the vertical line. So we can see how much space they have given. So there is around 12 or 16 space from left and right. So let's add that space. So for that we'll be using padding horizontal scale 12. Yeah, now for this flex row we'll also be adding padding vertical scale 12. So yeah, looks good, but I can see that the font size is not matching. Let's give the font size. For the Quint text, it's around 20. Yeah, looks good. And for this image also we'll be increasing the height as well as the width. Yeah, looks good. Now what we have to do, if you can see, it has the color as well. So the color of it is F8, F8, F8. Let's define the color in the theme file. Let's add color, which is background. Let's add the color. Okay, now let's give the color to the sign-in screen. Instead of white, we'll be using background. So yeah, looks good. Now what we have to do, welcome back, ready to hit the road. So let's add this color. So let's add this text in one container. Style is equal to styles.text container. We have to make sure that it's looking and aligned in the same direction. So let's add the text, welcome back, ready to hit the road. So let's add the text. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to make sure that it's aligned in the same alignment as of the logo, and also it has some space in between. So for that we'll be adding some padding top, scale 45. Okay, so now remove the color. Okay, let's give the text, font size is 30. So we'll change the title for this Quint, and we'll be adding text style over here. We'll be giving font size equal to font size dot 30. Okay, So if you can see, the font size should be matching to this quint text, almost less than this. So let's increase the font size for this for around 24. So yeah, looking good. Yeah, looks good. So we'll be reducing some padding top for this. Let's give 38. Yeah, looks good. And reducing the font size of this. Okay, let's reduce it a bit more. Help, looks perfect. So what we will be doing, we'll be making this input component. So let's make that component first and come back. Yeah, so for that, what we'll be doing, let's check the sign in style first. Let's check the onboarding styles, and padding horizontal is same. So what we'll be doing, we'll be making another component. Inside this we'll be making one input. Okay, we'll be adding input component dot tsx. We'll be adding one input dot styles dot ts. We'll be adding input dot props dot ts. Now let's add the component rnfe, and let's give name input component. Okay, let's give the styles. Let's remove this, or let's keep this, we'll be needing it, and the props which we'll be importing later. So let's add the input components code, and also we'll be importing the input component in sign in screen. So what we will be doing, input component. So yeah, so here what we will be doing, we need the styles to be on the right side. So let's add input, the text input from React Native. Okay, let's give this styles. First we need to import the styles, create style from input styles, and let's give the style to this styles.container. For this we'll be adding styles.input. Yeah, that's it. So what we'll be doing, remove the styles of the container, remove the styles of the text, and give this name as an input. So here for this container we'll be using this border stroke color. So let's add the color of this border, put it into the colors folder, put it into the colors file, add the border and give the color. Okay, so for this container we'll be adding this border width, which is 1, border color, which is colors dot border. Okay, you can see that we have one border and it has one color as well. So let's increase the width of that border. Let's add 2, keep it 1 as it is. Let's give the border radius, which is scale 12. If you can see, it has border radius which is around 10, so keep it 10 instead of 12. Okay, looks good. Now we have to also give one background color, colors dot white. Okay, so let's give some padding, vertical, scale 12. It's too much, let's give 4 or 2. Yeah, looks good. So we have to also give one label, which is this placeholder. So let's add that placeholder, which is this, and for that placeholder let's add the color for that placeholder text color. Let's give this colors dot border. If you can see this, it has the color which is this, which is 7f. So let's add the color in our colors folder, colors file. So give the placeholder as this 7f, and what we have to do, in this placeholder text color we'll be adding our color, which is colors dot placeholder. So yeah, looks good. So now we'll be adding this input style here, text font size, which is font size dot, let's add 17. It's too much, so let's give 13. Yeah, looks good. Also font weight should be 400. Let's give 300. When we type in this, it should also be visible, so let's add color is equal to colors dot black. Okay, looks good. Email, phone, yeah, it's working fine. What we'll be doing, we'll be adding some padding like this inside our input. So let's give padding horizontal scale 12 and padding vertical scale 2 and horizontal 12. Let's see if it's working. Okay, it's looking good and working fine as well. So we'll be also adding some margin vertical scale, let's give 12. Yeah, let's give for only margin top. Yeah, looks fine. So now what we'll be doing, let's see if it's matching. Yeah, now we'll be doing one thing, which is this icon. So for this icon, what we'll be doing, we'll be adding one image from React Native. Let's add the asset. Okay, now import the asset from over here, asset. Let's add the eye icon. Let's give the source, which is eye. See, now we'll be also giving the style to this eye icon, which is styles dot eye. Let's give the height and width, or let's give height and width scale 12 and width scale 12. So it's too much small, and let's give the resize mode contain. Okay, so let's try to give 22. Looks good. So what we'll be doing for this container, we'll be giving flex direction row and align items, which is center. Let's give justify content space between. Yeah, and also we'll be adding padding horizontal scale 12, or we'll be just doing padding right. Okay, it is looking fine. Now we will remove margin if it has. No, it do not have any margin. So what we'll be doing, we'll be adding one condition. So if it is false, it should not show. So let's add the props and also one prop for secure text entry. If it is true, so it should not show our type text. Okay, and let's add one flex. Okay, so what it has done, if you can see, the R is not visible over here. The moment I add the flex, it is now showing. So let me visualize you. If I give the red and if I remove flex, it's taking only this much width. So whatever you will type, it will increase according to your typing. So what I have done, let's remove this, and let me tell you, if I add flex, so it will not bother. Even if you have this much text, it will take whole space. So let's visualize it again with the true as eye icon. So it's also giving the space to the eye icon when it's true, so it's good, right? So let's remove the border, this color. Okay, remove this type thing over here, and let's see how it's working. Also you can see the email is strict over here because of the flex which we have given. So what we will be doing, let's give padding left scale 12. Okay, let's add margin left 12. So yeah, so what we have to do, instead of padding, let's had to give margin. So keep it margin as a 12, because we have padding right from over the container as well. So let's keep it 12, or we can reduce it to 10. So it was much. So yeah, it's good. So now we are good to go. So what we will be doing, we'll be importing the props. So let's add the props. So let's create export interface I input props. Okay, so let's add one prop for it. Will also have one prop which is on change text, and it will have the on change text function. Okay, so yeah, let's add this first. It will be a string and it will return nothing. Okay, on change text we will be importing from the props. Let's give I input props, and we will also need one for secure text entry, so let's add that. It will be a type of boolean. It's not mandatory, let's keep it optional. We'll be also needing one prop for this has, so once the secure text entry is true, so it will be also helpful for us to remove or give this image. So let's keep it like this, and also one thing, that is placeholder. So let's give the placeholder, and we'll be adding over here placeholder which will be string type and a mandatory. So let's give this placeholder over here like this. So now what we'll be doing, let's go to the sign in screen. It's asking some props, so if you see it's giving the warning, let's do quick fix. So add missing attributes, so it has already added this function. So let's have this function over here and see by doing a log if we are getting any event from this. Let's see. Okay, so placeholder will be email/phone, email/phone space number. So yeah, now if I type anything in this, it should give me this text over here. So let's refresh this and see if it's working. So yeah, it's giving us nothing. So let's see why. Let's go to the input component and see on change text is why it's not working. Console.log event and this e. Okay, so got it. So the reason for it is we are using the React Native. If you can see package.json, the React Native is 0.78.0. so in this version, what they have done, so they have removed all the logs, so the logs will be shown in the Chrome browser. So for that we have to press the J. So let's press J, and it will open up the emulator for us, the Chrome DevTools for us. If I am typing, so let me show you by zooming it. So let's type. If you can see, if I type my name, which is Mukesh, so let's type my name Mukesh, not in there, let's type over here. So you can see we are getting my name. So let's keep it like this, and what we'll be doing, we need another input. So let's copy this, let's give the name password to it, PASSWORD password. Yeah, it's looking good. And in this version, guys, let me tell you, they have also removed the bridge from it, so it's much more faster than the previous version. So let's make this checkbox, guys. So let's add one more component which is called as checkbox. Okay, press hit enter, add the component.tsx. Let's add styles, which is checkbox.styles.ts. add the props I checkbox.props.ts. so we'll be adding rnfe. so let's give checkbox component. Okay, so now let's import it and see if we are getting it or not. Let's type checkbox component. Yeah, we are seeing this checkbox component. Now we'll be adding one styles. So let's copy the styles, so we do not have to waste our time writing styles structure again. So remove the container text, remove the container, remove the unnecessary imports. Now for this we'll be using pressable from React Native. So let's use pressable, and let's try and give color by importing styles. Not from there, styles from checkbox styles. Let's give styles styles.container. let's see by giving a one color, red, and let's give flex 1. Yeah, it's looking good. So now remove the unnecessary imports. Now what we have to do, if you can see, they have given this check icon. So for this we have to use React Native vector icons. Okay, so let's come to this repository. Now what we have to do, check. So we'll be using material icons check. If you scroll down, you should see material icons check. So we'll be needing this material icons. So let's come over here, add this material icon and give the name. Let's import this first. Let's import material icons from React Native vector icon / material icon. Let's give the name to it, which is check. Yeah, and let's give styles dot check icon. So let's give the check icon height, which is scale 12. Let's give the width, which is scale 12. So it's too much small. Let's type 22. Okay, so it's looks good, but we have to give the height and width to this checkbox. So let's add style size, which is scale 20. So yeah, looks good. So now we can also remove this now, because we have given the size over here. So let's add one container. So yeah, for this container we'll be needing this black icon color. So it is primary. Let's see, it's 45, 45 and 45. So what we'll be doing, go to the colors and give checkbox bg and paste it over here with the hashtag. Okay, so in this container what we'll be doing, we need checkbox bg, okay, with align self, flex start, add some border. If you can see, they have given the border is of I think it's 6. Let's try and give 6. Border radius scale 6 or 4. Let's give the 4. It looks fine. And for the check icon, I think it's white. Let's give the check icon color over here as well. Let's give the colors white. Okay, it looks good. Let's remove the reduce the size of only icon. Let's keep it 20. Give the define height and width to this container. Scale, let's give it 25 and width 25. So it's too much. Let's keep it 22. Okay, looks good. Let's give the align item center and justify content center. Okay, looks fine. So what we'll be doing, we do not need this style now. We'll be adding one props. So let's add those props. So type export const I checkbox props. Okay, we need on press event. On press will be of a void type. Export interface. Okay, we need another prop which will be is checked, which will be of boolean type. So let's give props add on press. Let's import the interface I checkbox props. Let's add on press. Let's add is checked and give it a condition. If it is checked, then only render this, or the on press, which will be on press. So for instance, let's add one state which is checked, or we can type checked or set checked. Okay, let's define one use state. Okay, so for this we'll be using checked first, and if we click on this, it should do this set checked as checked. If I type over here press, it's checking. If I again press, it's checking, uncheck, check and uncheck. So now what we need is that once user press on this, it should throw to the parent component that if it is true or not. So let's type on press and pass this checked. So if we have done this, we do not need this is check from the parent. We also require this is check from the parent. So let's add the by default value false and give this is checked over here. So now this on press is requiring one thing. Let's add it a boolean. Now if I type, it should throw to that on press. So it has given one error, you can see on press is not function. So let's make sure that on press is always a function even if parent do not pass anything. So let's type press. So yeah, it's working fine. So what it will be doing, let's add the attributes. So yeah, on press will be a function. If I see console.log item, or you can see item, or let's call it event. Okay, so is checked is false, I have passed it. So you should see it in my DevTools. You can see if I check item false, true, false, true, false, true, false, true. But if you can see, if I check, it's showing me false. See, false. Now because the reason being, what happened, let me explain you. I have passed is check as a false, so by default it will have false. So the moment I do is checked, so it is making this state as a true, but at the same time the state will not go over here directly. So for that we'll be adding one exclamatory, so it will work now fine. So let's check by pressing J. Okay, let's do uncheck, false, check, true, uncheck, check, uncheck and check. So yeah guys, it's working very fine. So let's add one thing, which is remember me and forget password. So it is component, so I have not added this remember me because it will be not a part of a like generic component. So it is a generic component, you can use this component in any application, it's like a component. Okay, but if you want to make the app specific component, then you can make another component and you can add the forget or the remember me text over there. So I'm not going to do that. So let's do one thing in this. Let's make one view and type text remember me. Okay, let's see, M is capital. Yeah, it's capital. So what we will do, let's go to the styles, and if you can see, we have already a flex row. Let's try and give a flex row. See, so to that text we'll be adding one text remember. Okay, let's copy this text, give font size is equal to 12. Yeah, looks good, but it has one color. Let's take that color. The color is 7f. If you see, we have the color in the colors directory. Type 7f. If you can see, the placeholder is having 7f and 7f. So we'll be adding the placeholder color over here. Color is equal to colors dot placeholder. Yeah, so remove the font weight from the text, remove it. Yeah, not 400, let's do 500. Yeah, looks good. So what we will be doing, it has some space which is less, but we have more. So for this we'll be adding another call G2. Okay, call G, let's make sure that G is capital, call G2. So column gap, so column gap will be call gap scale 2. So it is giving one error, call G doesn't exist, so now it will exist. Let's press this and see. Yeah, it's looking good. So what we'll be doing, let's add this forget password text and let's see what color it's having. Primary primary is 45, 45 and 45. So we also have this color in our colors directory. 45 is checkbox bg. So let's add text forgot. Okay, so this text is off now, forgot. So let's add the forgot password. Okay, so for this we will also be adding one styles, which is flex row. But if you can see, the flex row is not having the justify space between, so we'll be adding another style. Let's call it forgot container. Make sure that C is capital. Okay, so now add this flex direction row, align items center, justify content space between. If you can see and give a background color, you will get a good picture. So it has only this much width. Okay, so let's add a col G, a background color, and let me show you. So now it has the full width. So only col G has the access to give space between, but it will do separate. It will make checkbox and remember me in between. So what we will be doing, we should add this to one view like this, and this, remove this parent, and now we can do one thing. We can if we remove this, if you can see, we need this alignment with this. Okay, so let's add that styles dot flex row. So yeah, let's remove this. Okay, so for this col G, we'll be adding one justify content space between. Okay, now add this outside that as forgot password. Okay, so now add flex direction as a row, add align items as center. Yeah, looks good. Now remove the green color. If you can see, it's now looking good. If you clearly see, it has some gaps in between and in between. So let's fill those gaps by adding some margin top as a scale 12. Okay, now between some we also need, and also we need space above than this. So for that we have this text container. Let's find it. Let's give margin as bottom, scale as a 12. Yeah, it's looking good. And this col G, let's add margin top more. Yeah, looks good. And we need a spacing in between this. So let's wrap this into a container, and let's give it a name as a styles dot input container. So just we need to add one row gap. Okay, let's give one row gap as a scale of 12. Let's keep it 8 or 6. Yeah, looks good. So if anyone have forgotten their password, they can click on this and they can check it as a remember or not. So if you can see, now what we need to do, we need to add these two buttons, which is login and sign up. Let's do that first. Let's add our button component. Let's add one text, which is login and sign up. Okay, now let's copy this, paste it, and sign up. Okay, so if you can see, the sign up is having another color, which is this secondary. If you can see, ed, ed and ed, let's add those colors in the colors folder. Let's add outline button bj, ed, ed and ed. So we have also one prop, which is style, not text style exactly, but a button style. Let's add button style as styles dot outline button styles. So let's come over here, add a background color, colors dot outline button bg. Yeah, so we also need to give one text style, which is this. The color is black. Yeah, the color is black. So let's add those color. Outline button text color colors dot black. Okay, let's give the style text style dot outline button text. Okay, so it is also having one border of the same color, if you can see. So let's add the border. Let's give a border width as a 1, border color colors dot if you can see, we need the color which is it's having to the container, which is button. So let's add that color to the border as a like this. So yeah, it's looking good, but if you can see, it's having some width to these buttons. So add the width to this text style. So let's give font weight as 500. Let's give 600. Yeah, looks good. To this login button, we also need to give the font weight. Style text style as styles dot button text. Okay, so let's give the font weight. Copy this font weight, paste it over here, and now we also need to give a gap in between. So for that, let's wrap this component in one container and give it a style. Let's add styles dot button container. Come over here, add one style which is row gap. Let's give flex scale 12. Let's give it 14, or yeah, looks good. So we also need margin top, scale 12, looks perfectly fine. So now if you can see, we also need to add this border with this text. So let's add this. But before that, let's see if it's matching to the design or not. Yeah, it's matching. So now we'll need to add one view, and inside that let's add that text which is or. Okay, so align view and one view. So for this, let's give the style styles dot border container. Give it a border container, give it background color colors dot red. Yeah, looks fine. Let's give it flex direction row. Let's give align item center. Let's give justify content as a space between. So yeah, also add one thing which is flex 1. Let's give width as 100% and see why we are not showing this or text. Styles dot or text. See what we can do for it. Color is equal to green, or font size is equal to font size dot 12. Let's give the width to this. Let's give it 50%. Let's give it a 12%. Let's give the width as a 50 or 40. Yeah, let's give it 40 or 45, you can say. Let's give it 30. Looks good. So if you can see, we have one border from the left and right. Let's add those border. So give the style as a styles dot border. Let's give it or border. Add those styles to this view as well, or border. Give it border, give it a height as a 1, give it a width. Let's remove this. Give it a width or a flex, you can say. Give it a one background color which is blue for now. Yeah, looks good. But now for this we'll be adding colors dot border remove this width, it's cutting. So let's give a border container one thing, which is called gap as a scale of 12. Yeah, looks good. Let's give it a flex one. Okay, let's give it a width as a 20-30%, or let's keep it as a scale of 50. Let's give it 20. Yeah, looks good. Let's give it a 15 over here. Yeah, looks good. Let's give it 10. No, let's give it a 15. So yeah, looks good. So for this border container, we'll be adding one margin top. Let's give it 18. Yeah, looks perfectly fine. Remove this color. Yeah, looks good. Remove the green color, and we'll be needing our color as a text too, which is 7F, 7F and 7F. So let's see if we have the color. So yeah, placeholder. So let's give it the placeholder color. Color is equal to colors dot placeholder. So yeah, so for the underneath of this, we need to add one icon, Apple and Google. So let's add those icons in the name of button component. So we need those components. So let's copy this and paste it below this. Okay, so only we need to change the name, which is Apple Pay, Apple Pay, and Google Pay, Google Pay. Okay, so Apple Pay and Google Pay, we also need to add the icons. So let's add those icons. Apple, if you can see, it has the Apple. So we'll be importing it from, let's see if we have material icons. So yeah, material icons we'll be using. We'll be creating a prop inside the button component. Okay, in the name of material icons, let's add this from material icons. Give it a name as Apple, name Apple. Okay, yeah, let's give it a size, scale 12. So yeah, so what we will be doing, I have got an idea. Let's keep it like this as a component. Okay, let's come over here, paste the icon, and make another prop in this component. Go to the I button props, right here as a component, make it JSX dot element. It will be a JSX, so but it will be not a mandatory. Yeah, it's not mandatory, so it will help a lot to give the styles. So add one prop as a button component, or as the component, and pass this material component as a child. So import it, import the scale, and you can see the Apple as icon is showing over here. Let's increase the size to the 20 or 24. Looks perfectly fine. Add the button styles, styles dot button style or button style. Come over here and add the button style, flex direction row. If you can see button styles, we need button style, and add the column gap as a 12. Looks fine. Let's go to the Figma. If you can see, the buttons are similar to the sign up, so we will be using outline button style for this as well. Yeah, looking fine. Outline button style with styles dot button style. So now for this button text, we also need the outline button text for this. Yeah, looks good. It's giving one error, which is button style outline button. Okay, So what we need to do, it's only taking one style, so let's give it a one style again, icon button style. For this it will also be same, and let's add icon button style. We'll be copying it for the outline button. Let's see, outline button we will be needing this. Yeah, so let's add flex direction as a row. Let's give column gap as a scale of 12. Let's reduce it to 8. Looks perfectly fine. Let's add the component. Yeah, looks fine. Now let's search for the Google. So let's see if material icon have the Google. So there is no material icon, Google icon. So we'll be using the ant design Google. Import it. Okay, it looks perfectly fine. Let's give the style or as a size, so let's keep it 20 or 22. Let's keep it 20 and increase the apple size to 26. Yeah, looking fine. Let's give button, instead of button container, let's add one margin top. So let's add empty as 4. So give margin top as scale of 4. Give this styles dot empty 4. Go to the page. Yeah, it's looking fine. Let's increase a bit, 14. So let's give the name 14. Okay, looking fine. It is able to check and uncheck. If you can see, the screen is not scrollable, so for it we'll be making it a scrollable. So instead of view, we'll be using scroll view from React Native. Close this. Okay, so it should scroll. If we increase the content inside it, it should scroll. Yeah, it's scrolling fine. So let's remove this and see what we have done. So let's add this text as well, don't have account, sign up. So for that we'll be using one container and one text, don't have an account, sign up. Inside the text we'll be adding sign up. So as you can see, we need to add one style as styles dot have account container. Over here let's add margin vertical as a scale of 4. Okay, and let's give it a background color for your visualization. Keep it center, align item center. Yeah, looks fine. And for this text we'll be adding style don't have text. Let's make this H as a capital. Okay, so let's give the color, which is, let's see what color they have given. So it is showing primary 45, 45 and 45 of placeholder. So let's give the color colors dot placeholder. Reduce the font weight. Yeah, looks fine. And we have to do one thing. Let's give some margin or one space. So yeah, remove the red color. So yeah guys, we have developed. Let's see if it's matching to the Figma. Yeah, it looks perfectly fine. The checkbox is able to check and uncheck. It can type and it can also type password. So we have to modify one thing. We have to remove the secure text entry For the input component, the secure text entry should be over here like this. So for the password thing, secure text entry should be true, but not for the email. So if I type my email, let's suppose dummy at gmail.com, let's give a password test@123. So yeah, it's looking fine, you can see. So it is done for the sign in part. If you can see, get started, and this is the sign in page. For the sign up, we just have to add the one input for the full name, one for the email, one for the password and the country. As you can see, we have developed the input component and the password. Both are using input component. It will be getting used same for the sign up screen. So we also have the sign in screen ready, and the sign up screen, it will take some time, like 10 to 15 minutes, that's it. And after that we can use the same input component for the reset password and verify your phone number. So I'll be making another video on this sign up screen and reset password and verify your phone number. After that we'll be making this enter verification code. After that we'll be jumping on to this car's home screen page and then search page and then so on. So thank you for watching this video. Please guys, do like this video, share this video. Please comment down below that what I'm lacking of and what you need and what you want to see more. And please hit the subscribe button for more videos, and you can improve your React Native to your another level. So yeah, that's it. Stay happy, stay safe and stay healthy. So yeah, that's it.